Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids. We have some huge news, actually. A brand new type of summoning event coming to Raid Shadow Legends, which seems to me, in a pretty big way, meant to design to address the problems with 10x events. I don't think we've got one on right now, in hopefully a better way than the summon pool does. You guys, I've got two videos up today and yesterday going for the summon pool, thanks to donations from the viewers, actually. And you can see what I think about the summon pool event in those videos. Not very highly, but let's check out this new event. So here we go. There is a lot going on here, so I will break it down. It is going to be a little bit small for you watching on mobile, but I'll be reading this all out so you will see. Some cool news. We're introducing the brand new Progressive Chance event. This event will allow you to boost your chances of summoning particular champions from a selected pool by up to 25 times. So not a 10x, up to 25x, by simply adding them to special summon slots. Each time you summon a champion that matches the rarity of the champs in the summon slots, you increase the chance of summoning those slots by X5. Basically going from X15 up to X25. Long story short, it's gonna be something like, we'll cover the rest of it in a second, but imagine it's something like a summon pool, right? You've got, let's say, 8 of these different legendaries. I think then you pick the legendary that you particularly want. You then have starting a 15, an X15 chance to summon them. If you summon a champion and it's not them, it goes up to an X20. You summon again and it's not them, it goes up to an X25. I think that is how it works. Summoning a champion from one shard type won't affect the chances of getting champions from other shards. So that's actually pretty interesting. So, like we would often, I would say, think about void shards being quite separate. But ancients and sacreds giving almost the same champions, and primals almost as well. You kind of think of them as being quite interchangeable, but they're going to be very much distinct here. As well as increased chances of summoning a champion in one of the summon slots, don't affect the chances of summoning a champion of a certain rarity. Okay, there's a lot. Simply select which champions from the given pool you would like to boost the summon chance for and place them into summon slots, and that's it. You can swap champions out of summon slots at any time, but they should be added there in the first place in order for them to receive the progressive boost. And there's a limited number of summon slots available. I think that the way this works is I get to go in and, let's say, from ancient shards, I think it means I can pick like a legendary for ancient shards. I can pick maybe an epic from ancient shards as well. Then I can go in, I can pick a legendary and an epic from void shards. Maybe a mythical legendary and epic from primal shards. It depends what they put in to the summon slot options, but I think that's how it's going to work. So it does seem like if, for example, I put Trunda into my summon slot, I summon a bunch of stuff. She goes from X15 up to X20. If I then switch Trunda for, let's say, Elva, Elva would reset back down to X15. She wouldn't be getting that boost. So you can freely change, but you can't like build up the boost chasing one champion and then switch in a different one, is my understanding of that. Chances of summoning epic and legendary champs are the same as usual from the shards. And these events don't replace 10x events, but will be a great addition. They actually seem to me to be a decent bit stronger than 10x events, but you're going to need a lot of champions. Let me actually grab up the list for the first one of these, and we'll break it down more then, which is coming out. It's actually coming out on Friday. And here we go. So Friday, the 17th of November, is the first ever Progressive Chance event. And there you are. These are all of the champions. So again, let's get something we can draw. Excellent. Okay, let me actually change the colors. So we'll talk about the champions in a second, but let's go through Staltus, Dragonbane, Snicktrack, Necmo, Kantra, etc., etc. So which one do I want so for me, I'd say for Ancients, I'm going to pick Theodore. For Sacreds, in fact, I'm going to pick Theodore there as well. I'm actually going to probably pick Theodore for all of them. I'm just going to take a bunch of Theodores. That's cool. That's for my my normal stuff. What about epics then? I get to pick an epic as well from those shard types. Lady Annabelle or Stag Knight are the two options. I personally don't really care, honestly. I mean, let's get, I guess, a bunch of Stag Knights, but it doesn't really doesn't matter to me. So again, I'd be picking for each of those shard types one of these. So I mean, we might as well do this for completion's sake. Then we get voids. I've got sort of in the way here. I'd definitely be picking White Dryad Nia for voids. And then for the legendary, I could pick Tumisia or Ursica Warcaller. I'd probably pick Tumisia because I'm more Hydra focused, but Ursica would be really good as well. So that's what I would pick. And basically the way this would work then is I think that there's no boosted chance to grab any of these other legendaries, but I now have an X15 chance for Theodore the Savant. So it is slightly better than a normal 10x event. Let's say I go in and I keep pulling my sacred shards. I get a legendary. It's not Theodore. The X15 didn't work. That now becomes an X20. I keep going. Fails again. It now becomes an X25, which is where I believe it caps out. So it will cap out an X25 chance for the Theodore. It would not up my chance to pull a Stagnite. That would exist independently, and it would exist for different shard types. So if I get up to an X25 for Theodore from Sacreds, I'm still sitting in an X15 from Ancients. I'd have to be pulling legendaries from Ancients to start stacking that up as well. Pretty interesting. I like the concept of this more than I do the Prism shards, right? Because it's using just your regular shards, this is an event that you can simply save up resources for. And that's good. And it can help you target in on a champion. So let's say, for example, for me, I could save up for ages and I could go, okay, I'm going to wait because I don't have a Duchess Lilitu. You might have heard about this champion. She's pretty good. I could just save my shards waiting for whenever they do one of these events for Duchess Lilitu. Then I pick Duchess Lilitu with all my shard types and I just pull like crazy going for it. It's by default better than an X10 event. And it scales up as well. You're going to need potentially a lot of shards, right? You're going to need a lot of shards to really scale this up. Let me work out some maths for you, and then I'll be right back. Okay, guys, we are back with some quick maths. Here we go. So, for a progressive chance event, basically, when you factor in Mercy Timer and how Mercy Timer, basically, it squishes your bad luck, right? The average number of shards to get a legendary champion from Ancients is 128.5 when you're not in a 2x event. So in this case, in a progressive chance event, in a 10x event, anything like that. Obviously, this is an average, so you'll see large swings either side, but over a very large number of shards, it works out as the average. But we'll take this as a good ballpark number. The same thing for sacred shards is 11.8 average shards to get a legendary in 10x events or in the progressive chance events from sacreds. Now, if we work that out for ancients, right, you're going to start at X15 chances. We'll break down how good those chances are in a second. It will take you 128.5 average shards to get your legendary and up it to an X20, unless you're lucky and you get your X15 champ. It will then take you 257 average shards to get your next one, and then up your chances to X25. So with 257 shards on this legendary pull, you'd have an X20 chance. If you fail, it goes up to X25. You then have to pull another 128.5 on average to get your next legendary. So in order to actually benefit from that full X25 chance, you're looking at 385.5 ancient shards on average, which is an absolutely massive amount. I mean, obviously you can gamble and you can hope that you get lucky and you beat the odds and you get it sooner. And I mean, that might happen. It might not happen. It might take you more shards than that. It's impossible to say for sure. But look, on average, it's still kind of a brutal number of shards, right? Like, to even start benefiting from X25, you should expect, roughly speaking, to have about 400 shards to benefit. And, you know, preferably you'd want more than that to benefit multiple times, right? You're sort of investing to get there to really reap the benefits. Like, my goodness, how many shards do you need to really reap the benefits for this? Like, what would you feel good having? Like 600? 800 ancients? Like, that's absolutely absurd. What about sacreds? Are sacreds any better? Obviously not, really, but here we go. So the sacred chance, again, you will start at an X15 chance. It will take you 11.8 to get to an X20 chance on average. 23.6 sacreds to get to X25. It would cost you 35.4 sacred shards on average to benefit from X25, which again is an absolute ton. Like if we got, 10,000 people to all buy, I don't know, 100 shards each, and to go and to do this, and we added all of it together and we worked out the average, it would work out at about 35.4 shards on average to benefit from that X25. Again, this is just a massive amount. This is especially difficult with sacreds, I think, because like sacreds are so expensive to buy. Even big spenders don't typically buy them. By the way, void shards are the same as ancients. You can put in ancients/voids. Voids are functionally the same. Here we go, ancients/voids. So yeah, I mean, my goodness, that's a crazy amount. It really is. What about your chances? How does it compare to a 10x event though? Like, is it worth? Is it worth? Like, do I just save every single ancient and void and sacred I have forevermore to be able to consider competing in one of these eventually? Here's how it works. So I simplified this a little bit because I'm actually not 100% sure at the moment without spending a bunch of time counting stuff up, and I'm too lazy to work out what the accurate chance for a 10x event is. I think it is slightly higher. I've started off saying in a 10x event, you have a 5% chance to get the 10x Lego. I think it is slightly higher. I think it might be 5.6% or something like that. I don't really care, to be honest. And it will move more towards 5%. The more legendaries they add, the more your chance goes down. I think 5% is a good, easy to understand number that's close enough to give you a good judgment. So if a 10x is giving you a 5% chance to get a given legendary, let's say Duchess Lilitu, well, going into this 15x event, you'd have a 7.3% chance. Even the default one, it's significantly better, actually. That is significantly better. It's not quite 50% better, which, 15 is 50% more than 10. But the way that these events works, it's actually slightly less, 7.3. An X20 would give you a 9.1% chance, and then X25 would give you an 11.8% chance. I certainly think that, if you're a Kraken, if you're the type of person that's going to come in and, spend $1,000 on a void shard at 10x or an ancient shard 10x, and you're going in with, hundreds to thousands of shards, this event is massively better for you. Like, good job, Krakens. You're happy out, right? A Kraken is happy out. If you have $1,000 to spare to spend on Raid Shadow Legends, and you're like, yes, that is what I want to do with my $1,000. Thank you very much. This is a great event for you. For a normal player, a free-to-play player, it's not great, but it's not terrible either, actually. It's not terrible. Like, for Ancients or for Voids, it might theoretically be worth the gamble. And I think one of the things here is that you can, presumably, I don't believe they've said, but I don't think that this interacts with your Mercy at all. So I can go in, right? I can go in right now. Let's say me right now on my Mercy tracker. Let me get my Mercy tracker. Okay, here we go. I don't know if this is, I think it is up to date for me. I don't think I've missed anything, but like, I have pulled 131 Void Shards since my last Void Legendary, okay? I can basically guarantee, therefore, that, Mercy starts after 200, so it's 69 nice shards. I'd be up to Mercy, and then an extra 20 on top of that. So with 89 Void Shards, I can basically go, bam, I am going to get a Void Legendary. With 89 shards, I will get a Void Legendary. That is how it works. So I could then come in to this event and look, yeah, compared to, let's say a 10x event for a Chrysia. Okay, I would probably go for that, even though it's actually, well, it's a different chance. This is Ancient/Sacreds. So I could go for it. But look, it's gonna be this. Void Shards was a bad example because Void Shards is a different chance. Whoops. But that's okay. This is for Ancients and Sacreds. But it's still let's say Duchess. I'm going in. Let's imagine that I was close to my Mercy with this. It's Duchess Lilitu. If it was a 10x Duchess Lil 2, I'd have a 5% chance. With this, with the X15, I have a 7.3. I do think it's significantly better. And I do think that this is something that is probably going to be worth playing around. Yeah, for a lot of late game players. Like once you hit the late game, it is really, really, really smart to play around extra legendary events and extremely good 10x events, especially for void shards. 10x events for void shards because there's no extra legendary. For ancients, I tend to prefer the extra legendary to 10x events, but you can still go for a 10x again when you're very close to your mercy, and you can game the system in that way. This is a better way of doing it. Now, of course, you know, realistically, unless you're buying shards, you're not going to get up to these higher chances. And that is how what I would probably be doing if I was free to play. I'd just look at this as an X15. X15 is better than a 10x. So if it's a great champion and it lines up with my mercy timer and the event lines up, I could go for it. So in this specific circumstance here today, I think that if we look at these champs, right, Nekmothar is fantastic. If I don't have a Nekmothar, and let's say I've pulled 180 ancients since my last one, hey, you know, it's not a terrible idea to pull 40 more ancients and have a 7.3% or whatever chance to get Nekmothar. It's not amazing, but hey, you know, you got to take these little gambles. It's not really a gamble. It's just maximize your chances to get something good. Because you got to have a chance anyway, right? That's how the game works, right? If you're going to be pulling the slot machine anyway, best pull the slot machine when it's in the right mode. I think this is an okay mode. I go for the extra legendaries first for ancients, but yeah, it's not terrible. So that's sort of what I think about this. What do you think about this event? I do think that, you know, if you want my honest opinion, I feel like this is kind of designed to get people to whale out more, really, because it's progressive, right? You spend $100 buying shards, and you go, oh, wow, well, I spent $100. I didn't get what I want, but man, now I'm up to, like, my chances were better. I started at X15. I'm up to X20. I'm really close to that X25, man. Oh, if I spend another $100, it's even better than that first one. Let's go. And then, oh, I still didn't get it. Well, man, I tell you, if I put in $100 now, I'm up to X25, dude. Like X25. This is great. Like, you know, if I was willing to spend $100 at X15, man, $100 at X25, yeah, of course I'm going to do that. And suddenly you're walking away at the end of the weekend, you know, $1,000 down in your bank account, and your husband and or wife and or child are crying at the door going, why have you bankrupted our family? What has happened? You know, I think that's sort of what it's set up to do. So yeah, I've got mixed feelings about it. I think at a simple level, X15 is obviously better than X10. I would be very wary of the stuff. If this was designed to be more player friendly, it is tricky. This would need to be a longer event. This one's up for 72 hours. Like, you could have this, even if it's longer, that's kind of tough. You could have it overlap with the 2x event. It's probably the best you could do. So you'd be lowering these average shards. Like, I think the average shards is more like 80 with ancients or voids in a 2x. So let's say it was 80, it'd be 80 here, 160, then 240. Still pretty high, but that's more manageable. To make it more friendly, you sort of want to announce these events in advance, like, oh, these are the next few progressive chance events coming over the next 3 months, so people can sort of plan for that a little bit, and decide what they want to do, and save up for it, you know, skip some fusions and save their shards for the progressive chance instead, benefit from it. That would help free to play, low spend. Yeah, making the chances higher is just more Kraken focused and free to play. It's letting you get to the higher chances sooner. I don't know. What do you guys think about this? Or if it started at X20 and then went X25, X30, again, that benefits the free to play more, still benefits the Krakens plenty, but it's more benefit to anyway. Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think it's certainly interesting. It's also quite complicated. Hopefully I explained it in a good way for you guys. Quick thoughts on these. Again, I think you've got lots of great Legos in here. I do think Theodore is the best one overall, with Nekmothar probably second place. Nekmo's exceptional at Hydra. Theodore is exceptional for a lot of the dungeons. Staltus is good as well. The rest of them are good. Like, I like Snicktrack. I like Kantra a lot. Wouldn't really feel like they're X15 worthy necessarily. Like, they're great champions, but you don't need to rush out to get them. I would personally say Necmo or Theodore would be the two I would pick, and I probably wouldn't go for it for the others. From the Voids, they're both decent. They're both good champs. But I wouldn't feel massively pushed. Like, I could do it. I don't think I will, honestly. These are both similar sort of level, I feel, to like Staltis, Snick Track. Bit higher level because they're Voids, but, you know, relative to other Voids, sort of that level. The epics are cool. Like White Riot Nia, I think in particular is really good. So she could be worth kind of chasing. But yeah, it's, you know, tell you what's interesting, guys. I tell you what's interesting. The fusion starts. The fusion starts. Is this going to be part of the fusion? That is going to be... Oh my, this could be part of the fusion. Well, I guess we'll have to see. I think it was due to be 2x Voids this weekend. If this overlaps with 2x Voids, that's cool. If this replaces 2x Voids, definitely going to be interesting. But I've got no idea. Pure speculation. Now, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. Been a spicy one. I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.